In today's video, I am going to be doing the unenviable task of ranking my Chanel bags. As a Chanel collector and the customer of many of their bags, shoes and accessories, I wanted to make a video that was actually going to be useful in helping make informed decisions about bags and items that you want to add to your collection potentially in the future. And although my Chanel bag collection is by no means vast, I have 5 bags. This will probably grow in the next few years, and I don't want to be buying bags willy-nilly. I've certainly learned a lot from the bags that I've bought that are currently in my collection, notwithstanding Chanel, and I wanted to share those kind of lessons learned with you. And hopefully in this exercise of ranking my bags, I hope that this might help some of you who are maybe a little bit newer to Chanel or the luxury community, or maybe a good source for discussion. So before I start and rank my 5 bags, I want to give you a little bit of information, I guess, around what those bags are. Some of you may have seen them before, but just to save you from having to scroll through videos, unless you want to, which go ahead. The first one is a vintage number. This is a Chanel crossbody bag. It is 24 karat gold plated, I believe. This is a bag that I got given from my mother, and this is where my love for Chanel began. And this is a velvet number actually, and it's probably one of their earliest designs. I think it's an 80s bag, so I don't really know what kind of the product name and product number and things like that was. The next bag I will talk to you about chronologically then is the Chanel boy bag, and this is in new medium. It's in patent leather. It's got champagne gold hardware, and this is, of course, as you'll know, iconic new classic in terms of the boy bags status, I guess, now in Chanel's collections. Maybe a year or so after, I bought myself this really cute Chanel mini in the iridescent pink kind of purple color, and it's got this beautiful oil slick leather. I wanted a nice pop of color, and I think this is probably my first pink bag, you could say. Then after that, we have the Chanel Business Affinity in the medium size, and it's in this beautiful dove grey color, champagne gold hardware. The Business Affinity is very identifiable in this, top handle and, having lots of pockets inside. I feel like it's one of those new bags to Chanel that everybody is loving, and I think probably will be a classic or a fixture in the future. And then the final and most recent bag in my Chanel handbag collection is this Coco handle in size medium with the chevron design, and it's got this beige colorway with kind of, I want to say like ruthenium or dark silver kind of hardware. I'll go ahead and I guess rank them in terms of a few variables. Which ones I use the most, which is the best value for money, which do I think has longevity in my collection. Should we start off with the worst? I think so. And it's regrettable to me that the worst in my collection, and probably the one that I've used the least recently, is my Chanel vintage crossbody bag. And that pains me because, like I mentioned earlier, it's incredibly sentimental, and I will never sell this. I will never give this away. But I don't recall the last time I used it recently. When I have other bags to play with, and of also other different fashion houses, because of how old this is and sentimental it is, and how I don't want to ruin it anymore, which I certainly did do a lot of. But nowadays I want to protect it. I want to keep it in as good nick as possible because it's not something that you can buy again. I'm kind of dissuaded from using it, which is a shame because it is incredibly functional, very practical when you're on the go wanting to be hands-free. But from a usage point of view, I can't remember the last time I used it, and it would probably be a few years ago, to say the least. Will this change? I hope so, and I would like to think so, that I would reach for this a little bit more. But I have so many black bags, so many black accessories as well, which I now am trying to steer a little bit away from, just to add some more vibrancy and colour to my outfits, but also because I want to protect this bag. So it's unfortunate that it's on the bottom of the pile, but I still love it all the same. So on to number 4 in my bag ranking, and this bag may surprise some of you. Obviously, we're in different times now because of the pandemic, but I haven't actually reached for this in the same way as the bags that are on the top of my list, and I'll explain that in a second. And this bag is the Chanel Mini. And I said this would maybe surprise people because it's such a unique bag. It is stunning. It's truly stunning. I don't think the light will do this justice at all. It looks pink in some lights, purple in others. Traditionally also, I've not really been into the look of the classic flap. You'll know if you've watched my recent video on 5 reasons why I won't buy a classic flap. This is one though that stood out as an anomaly for me anyway, because of how different it is in terms of look and feel. It almost doesn't seem like a classic flap in that sense. But I realised shortly afterwards, this is very much a spring-summer bag. I've worn this a lot on holidays, and I found that's kind of the common denominator amongst this being a used bag in my collection. Is a lot of the crossbody mini bags that I have, they're useful when you're going abroad, I feel, or going on a night out, or going to a nice dinner or something like that. Recently, obviously, with the pandemic, I'm looking now for more bags that are a bit more practical. And this bag I found is one that I haven't really been reaching for because it's not something that I feel like I can use to the best of its capacities, really. And so that's why it's regrettably number 4. But like I mentioned, it's a fantastic crossbody bag. It's very, very practical in the sense of you can be very hands-free with it. It's a great price as well. This is my cheapest Chanel bag that I've talked about in other videos as well. And it comes in lots of different fun colours. These are really great options to get for people that are a bit newer to Chanel as well, and looking for something a little bit fun and a different take on a classic. So for that reason, I would highly recommend it. It's just, at least for now and for my needs, it's number 4. Now on to bag number 3, which is essentially middle ground, isn't it? And the bag that is number 3 in my bag ranking is the Chanel boy bag. And I guess my reasoning is basically, in terms of the pros, it's a practical size. It's the new medium size, and it fits a lot in. It doesn't have a double flap, so you can get an awful lot of stuff in it. It's an open cabin, and I've managed to fit a ton of stuff in every time I reach for this, so it's very practical. You obviously have the options of having it over the shoulder, which not a lot of my other bags have really as an option. They're all kind of crossbody. This one obviously you can wear over the shoulder and crossbody, or just, you know, one strap, long strap on the shoulder. And I really like the options there. I think it is a very nice alternative classic to the classic flap. You've got the classic kind of chain, you've got the quilting, you've got all the luxurious details that make up a Chanel bag, but at a better price point, I feel. But I guess you could also say in that vein, number 3 is still middle ground, so it's not exactly the best either. And that's because I found that sometimes I have difficulties with the strap falling off my shoulder. This handle's also kind of heavy, so with filling up your contents in the bag. Also, other things include the fact that it's patent leather, it's very shiny, it's very out there sometimes. And also because it's so identifiable, sometimes I feel like people kind of target my bag, which again might be a mixture of figment of my imagination, but also the reality that we're currently living in. And I kind of, because it's reflective, like I mentioned, I feel like it attracts maybe a bit too much attention. And because this bag is black, amongst other bags that I have in my broader handbag collection that aren't Chanel, I'm trying to veer away from just wearing black items. I also feel like black can make things look quite formal sometimes, and so I've been trying to reach for different colours of bags, and so for that reason, that's why this boy bag is at number 3. Now we are on to number 2, and this was a really, really tough battle between these 2 bags right here. And I guess it might surprise some of you guys, because at least the boy bag and the mini, you know, they are almost classics or new classics to Chanel's collections. The reason why these are in my top is just because of pure functionality as opposed to status, which I think it's a good rule of thumb actually for anything that I buy in life, really. It's got to serve your purpose, your needs, as opposed to maybe what is essentially other people's needs. Ultimately, it came down to what I was reaching for most in the current climate. And I am also very much a Mary Poppins type of woman. I have everything that you can possibly imagine in my bag, because you just don't know when you'll need it. And so for that reason, the bag that is ranked number 2 in my Chanel collection is the Business Affinity. And this may surprise some of you because I know a lot of you out there love this Business Affinity, and I must admit the colour is beautiful. I think it's such a ladylike bag. It's a great price, it's a great style, it's so practical, so many pockets and things like that. I love, by the way, as a side note, the Dior little twilly scarf that I put on here. It has an M on it, it's so cute. But the reason why I guess it's number 2 is because it's a lot smaller than the Coco handle, but also I find sometimes I wish that this handle here, the strap, was detachable, and sometimes it can get in the way, and it kind of just, if you want to hold like this, it kind of dangles down, which isn't always my favorite. But I guess I just haven't really been reaching for it as much because it fits a lot less. But sometimes I find that it's almost sometimes a little bit too small for some occasions, but almost too big for others. And what I mean by that is, I feel like this bag is a bit too casual and too big for more formal dinners and things like that. At least in this colorway anyway, in this size. But also equally, for a full day out of stuff that you need to put in your bag, I also feel like this bag is a little bit too small. And so now currently I'm in a position where I'm currently not doing as many dinners or days out, and where this bag would usually be sufficient. I'm doing more of the, like, I need loads of things on me. I don't know what is going to spring up in the day ahead. Let me just bring everything. I've therefore found that in comparison, the Chanel Coco handle just gives me the option of being able to bring all this stuff with me and not having to worry about space or even how heavy it gets. I feel like this one gets a lot heavier, a lot sooner, and it almost feels a bit more delicate because there's no other way you can really hold it apart from this way, which is a little bit more, I guess, of a security risk, you could say, out and about. And so for that reason, my number 1 bag then is the Coco handle, because this bag is built to bring lots of things. And that's demonstrated in the fact that you've got a massive top handle, which you can actually feed your arm through, so it is more secure. And I'm finding it also useful to put more practical items in there, like a bottle of water, my hand sanitizer and cleaning kind of regimen items. And that all adds up in terms of weight. And I think this bag, with the handle being a lot more sturdy, for security, I find that having multiple options to wear the bag and to bear the weight and distribute it across the bag is also really, really helpful. And I do think it's kind of a nice mixture of formal and casual. I also like the chevron for that reason, because I do feel like sometimes quilting makes a bag look a lot more classic, a lot more formal. Guys, this is post-production Mel chiming in here really quick from the editing room, as I realised while editing this video that aside from the style and practicality points that I've just mentioned, I've actually missed out a crucial detail as to why the Coco handle just beats the Business Affinity for my top spot. And that reason should be of no surprise to many of you that have been watching my channel for a long time, and that is, of course, price. It's a common thread that goes throughout a lot of my content, because I think this being a luxury channel and these bags not being essential, price is something that we need to be realistic about. And with that being said, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the huge price hikes that Chanel has done across the board for their classic bags as well as their new classics, which a lot of the bags that you see in my collection fit. So with that in mind, you know, I think a lot of people that are looking to add new Chanel bags to their collection are definitely looking to get the most bag that they can get for their money, as well as, you know, there's more subjective points like the look of the bag or the material. And I do think that considering everything as a package, the Coco handle has to be the best value for money bag that I've seen anyway from researching Chanel's bag collections. And I do think that for the size of the bag in comparison to the Business Affinity, which is also in the medium size in my case, you basically get almost like a half more of a bag with the Coco handle than the Business Affinity, and you can see them in the side-by-sides that I showed you earlier. I definitely think that even with the smaller sizes of the Coco handle, you can get a really cute mini size, which still fits your iPhone if you've got a bigger iPhone like I do, the Max. It fits all of your essentials, and I do think the price is very reasonable. I actually, in fact, bought the Coco handle and the Business Affinity for almost the same price, tax-free at Heathrow. It was about £2,700, but if you really think about it, they're both made from the same materials, but the Coco handle, you get so much bag for that money. And I do think, considering COVID times, and there's not that many occasions for me to be going out,
these days. That is why I placed it in my top spot. And so that's why I just wanted to insert this little voiceover clip in this video, because I didn't want to miss out something that's really important. So anyways, rambling over, I'm gonna go back to Past Me to close out this video.
That is my bag ranking over. I'm gonna give all of my bags a little bit of love straight after this video, because although they don't have feelings, I can't help but feel bad a little bit towards the way that I've ranked some of these. Let me know what your best and worst Chanel bags are in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one.